Godzilla, you are going to love tonight's Facebook Live. Welcome inside the Channel 13 studios. I'm Scott. We'll get to Angela coming up in a moment, but coming up on the big show tonight, you are going to be taken to a place that no other TV station has ever been in before. It is the secret warehouse containing 60 years of Godzilla treasure. I'm going to take you to Japan. It's one of the stories that I'm going to be bringing our audience come up when the Olympics start in 4 months. In fact, 4 months from today. But tonight at 11 o'clock, we're going to show you inside this Godzilla warehouse. So if you're a Godzilla fan, be sure to stick around. Also tonight, if you love laundry, I mean, who loves laundry? None of us love laundry. But if you have kind of an interest in how Indianapolis is getting all the laundry done for all the March Madness basketball teams, you've got a really cool story coming up from our Mary Mills that comes up in a moment. But our lead story tonight, certainly the big announcement that was made by the governor of Indiana today. The mask mandate in Indiana is going away, and the vaccine eligibility is going to be given to every Hoosier 16 years and older. So let's bring in Angela as we talk about this big news today. What were your takeaways from the governor's news conference?
I think my takeaways were, you mentioned the 16 and older by March 31st,
right,
opening up the vaccine, and the hopes and the thinking that we're going to get a fair amount of vaccine come the end of the month. So
right,
that should help to speed things along. We had several people comment when it opened up for 40 and up that it was still going to be several weeks for them to get a vaccine. So
sure,
hopefully we'll get more doses and make that go quickly. He also mentioned the possibility of additional mass vaccinations,
right,
if we do in fact get that. I think from social media, the biggest takeaway that I'm seeing is the mask mandate is lifted April 6th.
Right, and so what they're going to do is they're going to take away the statewide mask mandate and make it a mask advisory. So the governor is basically telling local officials, local businesses, it's up to you whether or not you want to enforce masks in your grocery store, in your restaurant, in your bar, but there's no longer a mask mandate beginning April 6th. The reason they chose that date is that that is the end of March Madness. March Madness and the championship game is on Monday, April 5th. This goes into effect beginning on April 6th. So the mask mandates statewide will go away. It'll be up to various venues and businesses to decide capacity limits. So for instance, for Pacer games, it'll be up to the Pacers and the Marion County Health Department to decide how many fans are able to come in. And it'll be up to the Pacers and the Marion County Health Department whether or not masks need to be on the faces of fans when they go in. Same with the Speedway when it comes to the Indy 500 at the month of May.
Yeah, and then you think Ruoff. So will there be concerts
right.
Coming this summer? And if so, at what reduced capacity? Will there be mask requirements? I did appreciate the fact that the governor said he would continue to wear a mask when he's out and about, whether he's at the grocery store or headed into a restaurant or at the State House or wherever he may be among other people. He himself said he's going to choose to continue to wear one. Right.
So here are some of the other headlines coming out of the news conference today. So again, we've mentioned the mask mandate will now become a mask advisory. Facebook friends, we want to know your thoughts on that. Beginning March 31st, so that's next Wednesday, the vaccine will be open to any Hoosier 16 and up. I think this is going to be a big development. I think it'll be interesting to see how many younger Hoosiers decide that they want to go ahead and get the vaccine. Additional mass vaccine clinics, Angela, as you mentioned, will be happening during the month of April. And a lot of this depends, as you mentioned, on the federal supply of the vaccine. Currently, we've got the Moderna and the Pfizer and the one-shot Johnson & Johnson. And depending on what ends up happening with the AstraZeneca vaccine candidate, we'll see about that one. Customers in restaurants, bars, and nightclubs will no longer be required to, by the state, to be seated. 6 feet of spacing between tables and other seating will still be recommended, and K through 12 schools will continue under the current requirements through the rest of the school year. So look, if you like going into a bar and restaurant, and this is going to change what you do, where you go, how you do it, we'd be interested in hearing from you. And parents, let us know what you think about K through 12 basically remaining the same throughout the rest of the school year, Angela.
Yes, and then did make the comment that it looks to be back to quote unquote normal
Right.
Next school year for K through 12.
Yep.
As they start planning for that and moving forward, that's their plan for now.
Right.
But it will be interesting to see after all of this, are there students that would prefer to stay virtual? Will school districts offer a virtual part to their learning for students that still don't feel comfortable
Right.
coming back to school? And it's going to be interesting. And I can't tell you how many times I've said under my breath, I hate masks.
Oh, I know.
During all of this, but I don't think I'm ready to go into the grocery store packed without one yet.
Right. You know, I think it's going to be interesting, you know, for restaurants, for instance.
Sure.
If I own a restaurant, do I make my customers wear a mask? Do I make my employees wear a mask? I think that'll be interesting. I think you may end up going into one restaurant and, you know, people by and large are still wearing masks, and you may go into a restaurant right next door and nobody's wearing a mask. Again, I think that's what the advisory is all about. It's allowing the local business owners and the venues, the operators of local venues, to work with the local officials, the health departments, to figure out their own, you know, their own suggested ways of doing business.
Yeah, and we're probably going to have to exercise a lot of respect and grace in this transition period back to this, because you're not going to be able to throw all
Right.
your masks away, you know, on April 6th at 12:01.
Right.
Just
right.
because, as you mentioned, there are going to be businesses that choose to continue to require masks
Right.
in their establishments, and the governor has left it up to them to decide. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see if there are folks that never stop wearing a mask
Right.
in crowded places, whether it be even after this is a long gone. Airplanes, you know, other mass transit,
Yeah.
busy places. Is mask going to just always be something that some people continue to use?
Right, right. I think that's a very good question. You know, the governor made this decision, said he made this decision. This comes 1 year after they did the stay-at-home order. You remember the Hoosiers hunkering down that, you know, 12 months ago, all of us were basically, you know, told to stay home for 6 weeks to flatten the curve. So this comes on the 1 year anniversary of that stay-at-home order. But what we've seen across the state of Indiana, Angela, is that all of the key metrics have come down. So we're talking about positivity rate, which was at one point like 16%, it's now 3.3%. Hospitalizations, I mean, at one point we had more than 3,000 Hoosiers in the hospital. Tonight, I think the number is closer to 600. We are seeing fewer Hoosiers die from COVID-19, though if you look at the entire year, we've lost 12,500 Hoosiers. And, you know, our thoughts go out to each one of those families who have lost a loved one over the last 12 months. But we are seeing the number of deaths on a daily basis decline. And so with these 3 vaccines that are out there, the fact that we've got almost 1 million Hoosiers are fully vaccinated. I think the number's like 970,000 who, you know, are fully vaccinated at this point. These vaccine clinics coming online, the idea of now opening it up to, you know, Hoosiers 16 and older beginning next Wednesday. I think the governor is seeing the metrics come down, and summer is coming, and so we're gonna see how things happen as we continue to open it up.
Yeah, and there are a few concerns about March Madness.
Right.
And there are a few concerns about spring break. Those are the big ones. And I feel like I'm having deja vu.
Yeah.
The whole,
Well, I think
the whole
you know,
masks don't protect you fight is coming back around.
Right,
after
right.
we've
And you know, look,
been wearing them for
yeah,
months.
right. You know, I think the concern that we've seen in Miami, for instance, when they, you know, had over the weekend large crowds not wearing masks, and that triggered the 8 p.m. curfew that's going to go into effect later in the week. Because there are these variants out there, the thought is if these people go on spring break, they go to maybe Florida, for instance, and they're not wearing masks and they're not social distancing and they get the variant and then they fly back to their hometown, then they're bringing these variants back to their places, and then that's more easily spread, or it spreads quicker than the normal COVID-19.
And we had some of that, unfortunately, ourselves this weekend with large groups.
Right.
Not wearing masks. Granted, they were outside.
Right.
Not as large as what we saw in Miami.
Right.
But still a fair amount of people not social distance and not wearing masks.
Yeah, that was outside the Bottle Works district on Mass Ave. You know, as you mentioned, it was outside. They've got some big screens down there, and people were enjoying it, having a good time, but they were bunched together.
Sure.
And Marion County Health Department did issue, it's like a warning, a citation to that Bottle Works district. All right, so we're going to let's set aside COVID for a while. We'll let our Facebook friends continue to weigh in on how they feel about what the governor said today. You want to talk about laundry?
Oh my gosh. This story is so fun. I love it.
I know, it was so great. So we have all these teams in for March Madness, of course, staying in all the hotels. And you think about all the teams and the players and all the laundry that needs to be done. How does it happen? Mary Mills went and discovered there's actually a pretty good system for getting all that laundry clean.
It takes a well-run machine to run a tournament like this. In fact, 16 machines, pretty much running non-stop thanks to people like Carrie McFall.
A mother who's been doing laundry for years.
McFall, one of the volunteers running the laundromat to keep teams uniformly clean. To see how it all unfolds, we took a trip to the very back of the convention center with Steve Sanner, the lead volunteer in charge of laundry.
And as ready as we thought we were, it's been a tornado, but everyone's diving through it.
He says they've done 11 tons of laundry since a week ago Monday. That's uniforms, towels, and practice gear. It all comes in like this, in duffel bags.
One player's practice loop, and this kid did a really nice job.
As McFall showed us, the dirty laundry is dropped off at this dock.
We got Baylor's plastic stuff, and we're going to wheel it over to this truck behind you.
One of 2 trucks donated by Lowe's, where multiple loads are done at once.
All the machines are marked with a piece of tape, and it tells me who's in what washer and what dryer, so we don't lose track.
And so far, their track record is near perfect.
We've lost 3 socks. In 11 tons of laundry, we lost 3 socks.
This area is for drying. Now, all the uniforms, they don't go in the dryer. You don't want to shrink them. They have to be hang dried with a little help from this high-power fan. And no wrinkles here. Each uniform is hand steamed. Sanders says while he hasn't seen any of them courtside,
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of late nights, but we love doing it. And every volunteer we've had has been the same way. They just, City of Indianapolis in so many ways just coming together to make it happen.
What'd you like most about that story?
You know what? 2 things. We have great people that live in this state.
Yes, we do.
Volunteering to do someone else's laundry.
I know. Can you imagine the smell of all these sweaty uniforms, socks, and everything else that come in?
God bless these athletes, but no. And then the other part, 3 socks lost, right? Is that it?
11 tons of laundry, and they've
3
only
socks.
lost 3 socks?
I lose 3 a week, and I only do laundry for 3 people.
So you would not be asked to help out on the laundry team for March Madness?
You know what? After seeing all those volunteers, it has changed my mind. I would volunteer.
Yeah, and
Yes.
you know, can you imagine steam drying all those uniforms?
But it makes me want a steamer. I might be happier doing laundry if I had one of those fancy steamers.
Oh, it's a great story. Mary Mills, well done on that.
Yes.
And so tonight on 13 News at 11, we're going to take a look at something that was really exciting for me to experience firsthand. And tonight we're going to bring you this exclusive look at Japan's passion for Godzilla. Of course, all the Godzilla movies were made over in Japan at Toho Studios. They've got a big Godzilla versus Kong movie that's coming out next week. A lot of buzz about that coming out on March 31st. And so when we went over to Japan to gather all of our Olympic stories for our Summer Olympic coverage here on 13 News, we got really excited about doing a story about Godzilla because the Japanese people love Godzilla. And Toho Studios invited us into a warehouse that they keep all the movie treasure, 60 years of Godzilla treasure. We were the only TV crew in the world allowed in this place. We got a chance to see that. I'm going to show you that tonight at 11 o'clock on 13 News. And then I went to the Hotel Gracery, which is in Tokyo, because they actually have something pretty special for the Godzilla fan. Check this out. Godzilla fans who come to Tokyo have got to reserve room 3020 at the Gracery Hotel because there's something really cool inside. For $500 to $600 a night, come inside and see the Godzilla room. Yes, they've got an entire suite here devoted to the king of the monsters. And there he is. Godzilla greets you as you walk in. This huge Godzilla is in your hotel room, and you can see the ground is painted as if Godzilla is actually walking on the buildings. Super cool here. Of course, you've got the TV, you've got the cityscape here, sort of bordering the hotel room, which is too cool. Here they give you some Godzilla gifts. Each person gets little coins and a little Godzilla dinosaur and Godzilla pens and some other things. So they really take care of you here at the Gracery Hotel. But the coolest part about it, check this out. The huge Godzilla foot is above the beds. How great is that? Inside the Godzilla room, you've got the giant Godzilla paw. I mean, it's huge, it's massive. I mean, imagine the kinds of nightmares that you would have sleeping in these two beds, waking up in the middle of the night, perhaps wondering where you are, and then realizing you've got the giant Godzilla foot above you. And then for the Godzilla fans who have, like me, watched many of these movies over the years, you've got all the Godzilla posters from every Godzilla movie is in here on the wall, which is super cool. You can sort of go back into the memories and remember what you were like when you were a little boy, little girl watching the Godzilla movies. And then they've got this. This is actually one of the monsters from the 1995 Godzilla movie. Oh, it was so much fun. And point of clarification, I did not stay in that Godzilla room. That was way above my budget. So, but it was really cool. As soon as the guests left, we got a chance to go in there and shoot that. But again, coming up on 13 News at 11, we're going to take you inside the secret Godzilla warehouse. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the passion that is still in the Olympic host country as we count down to the Summer Olympics, which are 4 months from tonight, Angela.
We are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And you are tall. So seeing how big that hand was on top, whew.
That would be something.
Yeah.
How's our weather going to be shaping up over the next day or so?
You know, we've got a couple of showers out there tonight, may pop up tomorrow, but I think most of tomorrow is dry, warm, windy day with temperatures close to 70. And then our weather aware day is going to be Thursday. We'll have several waves of rain, maybe some thunderstorms that may reach strong to severe limits on Thursday, and maybe even have some strong winds outside of thunderstorm development. So that will be our concern as we head into Thursday. That will be our weather aware day.
Okay, and we are hearing from our Facebook friends. Monica says, I'll keep wearing my mask as long as possible. Paul says, no more masks. Woo! You know, we've got some others, Antoinette, Monica, all joining us tonight. Kathy is with us this evening. Tanya is here saying, look, I don't like wearing the masks. I still do because I understand why I have to wear it. So continue to weigh in tonight, Facebook friends, with your comments. And Angela and I will see you over on 13 News coming up in about 40 minutes. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live.